What did your parents tell you as a child? What was a complete lie? Cheaters never win and liars never prosper. I understand it was said to teach me right from wrong, but honestly all my life I've witnessed cheaters winning and liars prosper. It was the biggest lie. That they were growing vegetables in the basement, it was weed. When relatives gave you money and they said I'll hold that money for you and never getting it back, crying face. That all the lies I told will appear written on my forehead. So whenever I covered my forehead with my hand, they knew I was lying. Turning on the light in the backseat was illegal and would cause them to crash. That if I told them the truth they would go easier on me. That wasps and bees wouldn't bother me if I didn't bother them. Picking your nose makes your nostrils large. My dad regretted that one when 5-year-old me, having spotted a lady of African descent, said, Dad, she must pick her nose a lot. It's all in your head, we love you all the same, so much crap like that. Had people that we knew as a child come up to me as an adult and say that could see my parents loved my sisters more. Like, yeah, I know. That watermelon seeds could grow in your tummy. I nearly got into trouble for telling another girl this when I was 7. That if I snapped my knuckles I'd get arthritis. They said the noise from the vacuum cleaner was it trying to suck up all the bad dreams. That I could be anything I wanted to be when I grew up. My parents told me if I watched too much TV, my eyes would become square. Parents are always right and smart. The man in the ice cream van plays that music when he has run out of ice creams. That these factories that we used to drive past were cloud factories. That they were doing things for me. No. You were controlling to manage your distress. You were constantly checking where I was to manage your distress. You were refusing to allow me to date to manage your distress. None of this was to keep me safe or to help me. That I was lazy and lacked discipline. Took me 20 years to figure out that I had severe anxiety, and that school overall wasn't really challenging. If I sat too close to the TV I'd go blind. Well, the joke's on them, I lost my sight due to a socially crippling masturbation addiction. Work hard and it'll pay off someday. That sticking one atom of my body out of the window would get me arrested. That they'll support me in anything I do. That if I will lie I'll have big ears like donkey. If you be good I won't beat you. That my anxiety wasn't normal and I would grow out of it. That walking around the house without shoes on is why I had chronic leg pain as a kid. Still don't get their logic on this one. Edit, I still have chronic pain to this day, but looking back I'm now realizing it was something that was stress-induced. That if you unscrew your belly button, your bum will fall off. They insisted Santa Claus would know if I was bad or good, so I better be good for goodness sake. Couldn't go swimming unless we waited an hour after eating. I think it was to give them a break before we started trying to drown ourselves again. They convinced me that a fat man in a red suit could visit every child in the world in one night. My mom told me the dentist said I had soft teeth so I needed to brush more than other people. I found out this lie at 32. That I was happy. That they loved me. My granddad was in the British Army and in the 50s spent some time in Jamaica where he picked up the habit of flicking his hands so his fire finger slapped on his hand and made a sound, usually when he was excited. Come the late 90s early 00s Ali G is all the rage and all the kids are doing it and it's pretty annoying for anyone who has to be around it. My mum, at the end of her rope with it, told me that my granddad does it and he ended up with a pacemaker, so if we carry on I would need one too. That everything will be okay. You need to get a car and a college degree to be successful. I have neither and my bank accounts have more than both of my parents combined. That I didn't need to worry if I didn't find my way in life as when they passed there would be more than enough to get me a home and keep me going. They got sick, needed my help to the point it ended my career, didn't leave enough to buy a shed and land for it. Only hookers have their ears pierced more than once. There's no such thing as a bad reason to punish a child. Children are born from the navel lamau. Wasn't Santa the biggest one in a lot of pure childhoods? Watermelon seeds would grow inside me if I swallowed them. Going to parties and getting drunk wasn't fun. That if I kept sneaking over to the neighbor's house and eating the cat food they left outside for their cat, I would turn into a cat. That you will succeed if you are a good person. My parents told me I was born out of their womb. My father taught me to never tell a man no or else I would get beaten. That if I drank coffee I wouldn't grow. I'm very short, so maybe that was true. My mom told me I don't have to do anything I don't want to. Lies lol. Marmite comes from a cow's earwax. My dad told us that we were secretly rich and that he had a car trunk full of money. Nope, he sold cocaine and hid all the money in coffee tins buried in the backyard. Don't worry, it'll grow. That you get square eyes from watching too much TV. Ignore the bullies and they'll stop. Narrator: they didn't. Don't explore it unless you are committed to doing it for the rest of your life. Homeschool parents with minimal resources and living 30 minutes drive from civilization. Biggest load of BS that I've had to work through. You gotta try stuff to figure out what you like and or want. Everybody has a fat kid stage. You'll grow out of it. That was 20 years ago. I was 11. I just signed up for a gym membership last night. I appreciate them trying to make me feel better about myself, but it would have been much healthier to teach me a proper lifestyle. But it also doesn't help that both of my parents have eating disorders. I have no idea why my mother thought she needed to lie about this to me, but I ended up believing it for an embarrassingly long time. When I was 5 or 6, I saw my older brother's athletic cup in a pile of his things and I asked my mom what it was. She didn't lie about this part. She said it's called a cup and boys wear them over their privates when they play sports. But when I asked why, she told me it was in case he needed to pee during a game. I believed her, because I had no reason not to, but I could see that it wasn't a solid piece of plastic. There were little holes in it. I decided that those holes let the pee out slowly enough that it just sort of sprinkled on the field instead of creating a big wet spot. I did wonder why girls didn't have a similar piece of equipment. Girls play sports and have to pee, too. In my mind I logicked it out in some 5-yo kind of way, and it didn't occur to me that my mom had lied about this until I was in high school. She doesn't remember telling me that and has no explanation for why she did. I can't say it here, or at least I don't want to repeat it here, whatever. But let's just say now I'm in therapy working on being a more inclusive person. Every word that spewed out her semi-toothless mouth, TBH. Don't turn on the light, the police will pull us over. That Pierre Elliott Trudeau was my father, whom my mother met on a bus to St. Catharines.